All right, welcome back, guys. Today, in this video, we're going to be getting into social circle. Now, hopefully, you've been doing all the exercises that we talked about in the previous videos. And this one will also have an exercise included as well. And I know, like, man, listen, I'm not even going into as much detail as I probably could, Well, as a matter of fact, because I know I could, because I'm the one that put this together and I know what I didn't put in here. I wanted to give you foundational, broad stroke ideas to work with, If you want more specifics into your specific case, because I have to speak in generalities a lot because I'm talking to multiple people here in these videos. Um, Everybody has their own set of personal obstacles and situations and things like that that need a little bit more, uh, I guess, intricate detail. Okay. If you want that, reach out to me. Let's have that conversation. We could talk about what it is that you in particularly are struggling with or your special set of circumstances. We can get into that a little bit more. But as of now, these videos, I'm giving you things to start you in your process moving forward, giving you things to think about, consider, and exercises to help you along with that. Okay. So let's get into social circle. Why is that even important? Okay. What, what difference does that make? A lot of times, when I'm talking to guys and things like that. And, I'm like, well, look, a girl's either going to find you attractive or she isn't. She doesn't like the cut of my jib. Well, look, man, there's way, 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 way more to it than the cut of your jib. In a very, very attractive component in quality that gets overlooked a lot of times is social circle. All right. And it works on a couple of different levels. Now, the reason why that's attractive is because, you will have your women that like the guy that's kind of the lone wolf kind of guy, there is that. But by and large, and this is where generalities come into play, by and large, what you have is women are going to find guys who have a social network. Not talking about the movie, but a social network that's accessible to them. Okay, for various reasons, and I mean, and I'm not going to go get too deep in the weeds with this, but even from a evolutionary standpoint, a guy that's well connected was a guy with resources. A guy with resources is a guy that is going to be able to protect her and their children. you know so um so I mean, there's all kinds of layers to this, but all you really need to know in the here and now is that women find guys who are plugged into networks and have connections and have friends and things like that to be attractive. Another reason is if you're able to maintain friendships with people, then you're the kind of guy who can maintain relationships. All right. A friendship is a relationship. Now, it's not a romantic relationship, but it's a relationship nonetheless. And a guy that has a lot of friends, it also speaks to leadership skills. And I'm not really trying not to get too deep in the weeds with this, but the alpha component to it, and we can debate. Like, I'm generally not a big advocate or proponent of the whole, like, oh, you got to be the alpha guy, and I'm not usually talking about that too much, but it does speak to the fact that you can control a crowd, you can make things happen, and that assertiveness and is an attractive characteristic. All right. So if you don't have a big social circle, it's something that you need to work on. Now, you don't have to have, like, look, I'm not saying you got to have 20 best friends. All right. But it is good to have a circle of friends just for your own your own mental health too, in the sense of you have people that you can talk things out with, that, should you have a problem with something. Like, I'll give you a quick example. Me personally, I am not the most handy guy in the wide, in all the world. All right. Now I can do stuff, I'm not an idiot. I can change a tire. I can do, some um, routine maintenance type of things on a vehicle or in the house or whatever. But, I'm probably not going to be building you a deck anytime soon. I'm probably not going to put an addition on your house. Like I'm just not that guy, and that's okay. Um, for instance, a good example would be, uh, look, if my furnace went down, there's a 50-50 chance that I could maybe fix it. Okay, some YouTube tutorials or something like that. I might be able to fumble my way through it. However, it would be much easier for me to call one of my former students who owns a heating and cooling company. He'd be here lickety split and he would fix it. Now, I didn't do it, but it's almost as good as if I did, to any woman, that I'm, that's living with me, or whatever, like, it will get fixed. And I'm the one that made sure that it happened. Okay. So, um, that's good for me. That shows value that I have, that, look, if a car goes down, if this happens, if that happens, I can get it taken care of. Okay. So just on that front, it's good, let alone anything else. All right. But it's just good for you to have a certain group of people in your life that can, as an extension, those people know people, and those people know people. You're never at a loss for things to do, for new experiences to go have, to you know just get out there and live life. Right. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we get a social circle? Well, first and foremost, it can't be a thing of where it's not, there's no reciprocity. Okay, look, you should be offering value to people. All right, and we talked about value in a previous video. All right, you should be offering value to people. If you're not offering value to people, then you're a leech, you're an energy vampire. You're, like, no, people get tired of bailing somebody out time after time after time after time that never really contributes anything to them. All right, one-way street stuff, and vice versa, by the way, too. It shouldn't be a thing of you always doing things for people and them never contributing anything to you. Now, it doesn't have to be a quid pro quo. It doesn't have to be tit for tat. Like, I'm not an advocate of keeping score, so to speak, but at the same time, you kind of know when you're being taken advantage of, and you kind of know when you're taking advantage of somebody. All right, so there should be some element of everybody benefits. The high tide raises all boats, right? So, if you're part of that tide, your boat's being raised just like that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that's all on that tide together. So, how do we form this social circle? Well, giving value, but you also have to get out and meet people in places that, speak to you, right? If you are, if you're going to these places that just don't make any sense for you and aren't the kind of people that you would consider, or even consider being friends with these people, like, what's the point? Go to places that resonate with you. We talked in a previous video about cold approach, being in the, knowing what you want, and all these things, going to these places and meeting these people, right? So this isn't just a social circle of women. I'm not talking about building a harem, but what I am talking about is having that group of people that you all share commonalities with. It could be anything. It could be going to, learning martial arts, going to Toastmasters to learn how to be a better communicator. It could be going to just random hobbies, maybe wine tasting, maybe it's microbrew, maybe it's a cooking class. You know, the list goes on and on and on and on. And look, if unless you live in the middle of nowhere, um, it's not too hard to find events for you to go check out. Now you have to be social at these events. You have to introduce yourself to people and start talking to people and things like that to start building some of that connection. You also have to be, you have to frequent that place, you know, or that type of event, because if you don't, a one and done, you know, it's like, what kind of connection are you really building with people? So look, there's all kinds of ways to do this. You know, there's Facebook groups, there's events, you can Google it, there's Facebook events. I mean, list goes on and on. One of my favorite ways of going about and doing this is meetup.com. Okay, if you go on Meetup, and you, because you can search out whatever your interests are and see what's going on around you, and check out those events. And a lot of those people, you know, like we'll just say for instance, you want to start playing board games with people, you know, maybe that's your get down, and that's totally fine. A lot of those people that are going to be at those events are also going to be at the next event, in the next event, in the next event. And that's how you start the ball rolling and getting to know these people, what they're about, if it's somebody that you would even want in your life on any level. You know, things that they do outside of board games, you know, the kind of work that they do, you know, things like that, man, can be very effective. Now, this leads me to the second part of meetups and events and building out your social circle. If you don't find what it is in your area, then you start it. As a matter of fact, you're better off if you start it. Now, if there's a gang of things going on that speak to that particular thing, that, you know, whatever it is, again, board games, we'll just say, okay, well, board games, like maybe there's 6 people already doing that. Probably not a good idea to start the 7th. Okay. But I will give you an example out of my own life. All right. I used to do real estate for many years. And you know, I was trying to think of new ways to generate business, how to be in front of people to get leads and things like that. I would like to think the people that go to wine tasting events probably have good credit. So I went on Meetup and I started looking to see if, you know, there was any wine tasting groups or anything like that. And there were a couple, but they seemed to be kind of dead. There wasn't a lot of activity, not too much going on there. So I was like, all right, well, let me go on ahead and I'll just start my own. And a lot of people responded to it. The first meetup I had, there was about 40 people there. Blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. And me being the organizer of the event, guess who everybody had to talk to? Me. Now, I stood up and I told everybody, you know, I set up something with a winery, and, you know, we had some special deals going on and things like that. Because I was like, man, there might be a gang of people here, you know, on a Wednesday night where you're not normally having a lot of business. What kind of deals can we do? You know? And so a lot of people came out. Everybody had to talk to me. And I stood up and I told everybody, I'm like, listen, I'm not all that well versed in wine. Yes, I understand. I'm the one that put the group together, but I'm not the expert. You guys are. I like wine, but I don't know much about it. So I need you guys to educate me. And guess what happened? Oh, try this flight of wine. Hey, if you get this kind of wine, you know what you want to do? You want to match it with this. And I was kind of wasted, but not quite honestly. Everyone just kept bringing me wine all night. But the thing is that everybody had to come see me. Then, as somebody that was doing real estate, you know, the question would come up organically. It's not like I was pushing it on anybody. What do you do for work? You know, and I'm like, well, you know, I have a real estate team, and you know, I have an office that's a mile down the road here, and you know, start talking about that. And then, of course, everyone, well, how's the market? What do you expect to have happen? Now I'm having real estate conversations, and I'm pulling these people into my pipeline. Now, yes, that's a business strategy, but it also applies to your social circle and your social pipeline as well. Because I'm still look, when I started doing that, that was 10 years ago. I'm still friends with some of these people to this day, you know? And so look, you know, the same principle applies here in that if you're bringing value, and you are, if you're the one organizing it, you're certainly bringing value. You're the one that spearheaded everything. You're the one that organized it, put it together, and they have to talk to you. You literally are the straw that stirs the drink. All right. I guess not literally. You're not really a straw, but you know what I mean. You're the one you're the go-to, you're the alpha dog, you're the captain of the ship, man. Everybody got to see you if they're going to be a part of it. And then if they are there, they have to come see you to check in and talk to you and all that kind of thing. Thank you for putting it together and all that. And so it just gives you plenty of opportunities to have conversations. If you keep doing it routinely, these same people are going to come back. Maybe they're going to bring their friends, all that kind of thing. And now you have a social circle that works for you. Okay. And you for them also, you know, like I said, it's a two-way street here. So now, in terms of dating, how does this apply? One, you have a more textured life. You have things going on. You have people that you know, resources at your disposal. Very attractive quality. Okay. Two, guess what? These people know people. They're not all lone wolves. You know what I mean? They have their own group of friends, their own people, things like that. So now, you know, like, so for instance, let's use the wine tasting example. You have these single women that are coming to this wine tasting event. Okay, well, look, maybe none of them float your boat. All right. You're just not into any of them. They have friends. They're single. They also have single friends that will come, you know, make it known, hey, bring your friends out to the next event. You know, it was great seeing you here and things like that. Now you're meeting their friends. Okay. And maybe their friends do float your boat. It's, you know, whatever, this cute girl, she's pretty, whatever. And now she's there. She has to see you. You're the organizer. You're the guy to talk to. And you've already been vetted and vouched for from her friend that was there initially. Oh, you got to go meet this. Hey, we're this wine tasting event that's coming up in a couple of weeks. This guy, Dale, runs it. Really cool, engaging, charismatic guy. A lot of fun. It was a great event. Come on, Sarah, let's go. Now Sarah's there and you can talk to her too. All right. So now, again, you have reference from her friends and all that kind of thing. So, you know, there's no losing here. Bottom line, worst case scenario is that you just have a more cool, textured, fun life with things going on. That's worst case scenario. So best case scenario, you know, you're meeting all these women that are friends of friends and maybe not even friends of friends. Maybe that they themselves are, you know what I mean? And so there's no downside to this is what I'm driving at. Now you can get some pictures for your social medias and your dating apps like we talked about in a previous video. It all comes together here. Okay. So listen, what I would love for you to do is start something. And I don't mean necessarily start an event, though, although you could, you know, as you being the organizer, administrator, whatever. But start looking in your area for new things to do. Maybe you say to me, Dale, look, you know, I do lots of stuff already, but it's a sausage fest. You know, like I go box on Tuesday nights, you know, and there ain't no women there. And even if there was, what do I do? Hit them? You know what I mean? So you know, okay, cool. And I'm good on you for doing that, for having something already going on or a couple of things going on. Add something to the mix. Add something that's a little bit more co-ed, you know, maybe it's softball, maybe it's photography, maybe it's a cooking class, maybe just start thinking about your peripheral interests. What do I mean by peripheral interests? What I mean is we all have these things that are on the back burner. One of these days, I'd like to learn how to do this. One of these days, I'd like to join this type of club. One of these days, I'd like to go and experience this. Make that day today. Stop letting it be this thing that's just on the back burner. Start actually putting some forward progression to it. Hey, look, maybe you have kids and maybe, your schedule isn't as flexible as just being able to do that. There's a ton of events, man, ton of things going on. Pick something. You even if you can only go once a month, that's better than none a month. You know what I mean? So, whatever your schedule is, whatever is feasible for you, if you're taking this seriously and this is a real pain point in your life of getting out and meeting women, hey, you got to make something happen. You gotta do something, So get out there and find something to do and commit to doing it. Okay. To the best of your ability. Hey, look, if it's something you can go to 3 times a week and you have the time and to be able to do it, great, do that. If you don't, you can only go once every other month. Okay, do that. So it's up to you how much you're going to put into it. But much like anything else, what you put in is what you're going to get out. Okay. So, all right, that's going to wrap up this one. And the next video is going to be super dope, man. I'm really excited about that one. I'm going to show you guys how to run the perfect date. Okay. So, one other thing, actually, before I turn this off, the people that you meet at these events, to start adding to your social circle, start following each other on social media. Okay. Maybe you're not a big social media guy. That's okay. We talked in large part about dating apps, but like I told you, a lot of the same principles apply to social media too. So just you at least use some of those principles and start following each other, and they start seeing your cool lifestyle that you're now doing and documenting by having these events. You see how all these things kind of tie together, right? So get out there and do it, man. I'm telling you, it'll be a game changer. And we'll see you in the next one.